You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed with the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. At 37, I made one of the bravest decisions of my life. I left a successful corporate career to focus on building my coaching practice. By that time, I was making a $250K a year, had traveled the world, had a mortgage of almost $1 million, two kids, 11 and 3-year-old, and zero entrepreneurship experience. In this video, I want to share how I found the courage to make that decision, why I did it, and how I actually made it happen. I'll also share the lessons I learned along the way and the advice I have for anyone who thinks a 9-to-5 job is the only way. This video is structured into 5 blocks with a summary at the end. There are timestamps below, but stick around for the whole 10 minutes to get all the lessons I'm about to share with you. So why now? Why at 37? What triggered me to make such a bold decision? For most of us, change happens when the pain of staying where we are outweighs the pain of change. That's exactly what happened to me. At 35, I returned to my senior role in corporate finance after my second maternity leave. I had a stable job with roughly $200K salary, managed a team of 11, and had big goals. My boss was creating a new director role, and I told him that that's the role I really want to apply for. But then he asked, "Don't you want to settle down with 2 kids and take it easy?" That was the first red flag. I went through this series of interviews, but later learned they had already had someone else lined up. When I asked my boss about it, he said, "You make the executive team uncomfortable. You are too direct, want to move too fast, and always rock the boat. We need someone easier to manage." That hit me hard. I realized I deserved more. I had already applied for senior roles outside, but hadn't heard back. That night, my husband said, "Anna, wherever you go, the box will always be too small for you. You have to create something of your own." I will not repeat how I found my why and learned that coaching, it is what I want to do, as I have a separate video on that which you can check here. But that night, I made a big decision. I would take ownership of my growth and income. That was my first big step. Lesson number 1. When you work for someone, you are at the mercy of your boss's decisions. I spent a few $1,000s to enroll into a course to become the best possible coach. I signed up to a course based in the UK and knew that for the next 9 months, I would be juggling 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. studies with full-time job, 2 kids, and get my business off the ground due to time difference between Australia and the UK. Lesson number 2. Measure your why and goals by the sacrifices you're willing to make. Throughout the time, my relationship with my boss significantly worsened. I found another role with a leader I wanted to work for, and 24 hours after I received a verbal offer, I found out that that leader had been removed, and I would be now reporting to someone who turned out to be a complete disaster. 6 months later, our relationship had deteriorated to the point where the entire team left and I was the last one remaining. I was sitting in the room with executives, looking at their lives and thinking, this is not the life I want to have. All of them were lacking one thing that I valued most of all: freedom. Freedom to be your authentic self. Lesson 3. You don't get more freedom by climbing the corporate ladder. It's an illusion. There will always be someone telling you what to do and what rules you have to play by. I think I started to hate it so much that I literally self-sabotaged myself towards the exit. Eventually, I was told that they had decided not to extend my contract. That's when the realization hit me for the second time. I saw the pattern and I realized that I could be going through the same pattern and end up in the guaranteed misery. As I told you, the lives that executives that I saw, it's not what I wanted. Or I could try and give myself a chance to do something different, a chance for the better life. So the chance for good outweighed the guaranteed bad. By then, I had my coaching diploma, 1 paying client, and had run my first corporate workshop. I thought the hardest part was behind me, but I was so wrong. The hardest part was shifting my mindset. I had to overcome the limiting belief that I had, and the limiting belief that I had in my head was, I can't be an entrepreneur. I was so used to corporate life, and the entrepreneurial world seemed so terrifying. Lesson number 4. It feels scary not because you are incapable, but because it's new. The only way to overcome that fear is to take small actions and design a counter plan for your worst case scenario. So I gave myself 2 years. If I don't achieve my business revenue goals, I would return to corporate. I started building my personal brand on Instagram, writing daily on LinkedIn, launched my YouTube channel, tried launching an online course, which flopped, and spent countless hours learning about sales and business and marketing and strategies. Most coaches fail in the first 6 months, not because of a flawed business model, but because they give up too quickly. It's not about self-doubt, it's about showing up every day despite the self-doubt. Lesson number 5. Motivation is fleeting. Rely on self-discipline and your bigger why instead. Every time you want to quit, remind yourself why you started in the first place. And just to give you some context, I didn't grow up in an entrepreneurial family. My parents worked hard to provide financial stability for me and my brother. Growing up in the Soviet Union and then independent Ukraine, stability was the priority. That's why I didn't travel after university at 21. I didn't take a gap year, but found a stable job. That's why I didn't start multiple businesses after uni. I was focused on building a corporate, stable career. I saw a video which said that people start their businesses from 2 places: despair or security. I started my business recently from the place of security. I had spent 15 years building a stable life, saved money, and to be very honest, could have become a CFO in some company if I wanted to by the age of 45. But that's not the life that I wanted. So the decision I made had a very high opportunity cost, as they say. Was it scary? Absolutely. I had almost $1 million in debt, mortgage, 2 kids, and rising interest rates. My husband's job was a bit shaky too. But I made the choice. I would rather be a failure than a coward and let my fear stop from pursuing something that's going to serve me better long term. Lesson 6. There is no such thing as the perfect time. The only way to start is to begin now. I didn't quit my corporate job immediately. I kept working, even when changing roles twice. I didn't want to risk everything until my business was making some money. If you can't afford to quit right away, use your 5 to 9 time to build your dream 9 to 5 later on. My clients came to me with the pain that they don't have enough time, and in the matter of 2 sessions, I find them 6 to 12 hours extra per week in the diary. You would be amazed what you can do in a year if you dedicate 500 extra hours to building your dream. Lesson 7. If you can find 2,000 hours a year to build someone else's dream, you can find 500 hours to build yours. I built a detailed plan for the first 6 months. 12 months and 2 years. We also sold our house to release equity, reset our finances, and studied financial books. 7 months later, we were out of debt, living in a better area with fewer liabilities and more assets. Lesson 8. The choices you are making today and the risks you are taking today shape the life you will have tomorrow. Once I shifted my mindset and built a strategy, I focused on building systems. A support system, an operating system, and an execution system. Having people who inspire and support you is very crucial. I'm grateful to my husband that he said to me, we are in this together, financially, mentally, and technically. If you don't have a supportive partner, find a mentor or coach who can guide you through the most difficult time of your first 6 months. In any business, you'll spend more time working on the business, marketing, client acquisition, sales strategies than in the business. For my case, it's coaching, especially at the start. Invest in learning and accelerate your growth by hiring coaches, hiring mentors, and learning from people who have already been on that path. And then execute, develop an unprecedented self-discipline and time management skills. Stick to your action plan daily, stay focused on your path, and stay in your lane. Lesson number 9. In order for you to succeed, you just need to be what majority of people are not: disciplined and consistent. I remember when I told my older brother about my plans, he said, "You're going to be doing this with no guarantees?" "No, thank you," he said. "I would have never done anything like that." But if there is anything in life that I learned, it is that there are never, ever guarantees in whatever you do. You're getting married, there are no guarantees. You're getting pregnant, there are no guarantees. You're starting a business, there are no guarantees. 6 months down the track, and I have started to see momentum happening throughout this time. I validated the idea of how much I want to work independently, how much I love helping people, helping clients, and how much of my potential I had untapped. One of the most powerful tagline in the world is Nike's tagline, just do it. What they mean is that I see you. You are that close to take that leap of faith, to take that step. So just do it. Just take that leap of faith. As in the end, it is not what you achieve, but rather who you become along the way that matters. As always, rooting for you and for your success. With care, Anna.